Welcome to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1, where I talk about geocaching and my adventures with it. I first heard of geocaching from a friend back in September 2014. I thought it sounded fun, so I went to geocaching.com and set up an account, and that was as far as I got. I had hoped it would be something that my husband and I could do together, but he really wasn't interested despite my attempts to get him to try to go out with me and try it. At the same time, my son was only a few months old, and I wasn't sure how to try geocaching with an infant, so I just gave up on the whole idea. Fast forward about 5 years, and I was trying to come up with some activities that I could do with my kiddo, and I happened to remember about geocaching. I installed the app on my phone, and turns out we had quite a few caches near us. On September 23rd, 2019, almost exactly 5 years to the date when I had first opened my account, I went out with my son and we found our first cache together. Now, normally I will put a spoiler disclaimer before talking about any cache specifics so people can choose to skip over the cache details in case they decide to look it up and go find it. However, since this particular cache I'm going to discuss has been archived and is no longer available for finding, I'm going to skip the disclaimer this time. The first cache we found was located at Veterans Tribute Park in St. Charles, Missouri. There is a link to the park's webpage in the show notes if you're interested. If you're in the area, it's a great park to check out. The cache was called You Caught This Fish? Cache ID was GC7ZEXZ, which is now archived. Difficulty rating was 2 and terrain rating was 2. The description read, "This is my second cache, located in a beautiful new park. Feel free to tell me if I'm doing anything wrong. Cache is located in a small key container. BYOP. Have fun caching." The hint was, "What's up, dock?" At the park, there was a beautiful pond with a fishing dock. The geocaching app showed the pin near the dock, which made the clue make sense. My plan was to quickly find the cache and then take my son over to the playground to play. What I thought would be a quick find ended up taking about 20 minutes or so. The pin showed the location on the left-hand side of the dock, but we couldn't find it. We looked all around the area. The pin was shown. We looked in the weeds thinking maybe the key box had been knocked off. We walked up and down the dock looking for the magnet box on all the rails and just couldn't find anything. I was getting frustrated, and the kiddo was bored and badly wanted to go to the park. I was on the verge of giving up and taking him to the park when I decided to look at the app again, and this time started scrolling through the logs left by the other cachers. I noticed there were a few logs stating that the coordinates were off a bit, and finally found one that said the cache was actually located on the other side of the dock from what the pin had showed. Thanks to the comments from the other cachers, we were able to narrow down the search field significantly and finally found the magnet key box. My son and I were both super happy that we'd finally found it and signed the log. Having finally accomplished what we set out to do, we went over to the playground and just played for a while. After that, I was hooked. I really enjoy geocaching. As of this recording, I am currently up to 52 finds and 2 hides, so I'm still fairly new at this. Sometimes I do it with my son, sometimes I do it on my own. When we're out and about and I notice a quick park and grab on the app, my husband has been a good sport about stopping by it when we have time and letting me and our son find it. He's even done a couple of finds with us, but he's still just not interested in it, which is fine. Like I've said, he's been a good sport and has stopped not only at places in town when we're running errands, but also in a few places in southern Missouri when we've been down there for family events. He understands it's something that our son and I really like to do, and he's being supportive of it, which I really do appreciate, so shout out to him for that. You have been listening to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1. Feel free to reach out to me on my geocaching profile page, Shadow Dragon 1, or at geocacheadventures.org. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and thank you for listening.